Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. It's June 2020 and we're in the JF-17 and we have two new modes of bombing. DTOS and direct or manual bombing. As ever, before we go in, let's just check out today's controls. To drop the bomb, either press and hold weapon launch depending on the system that we're going to use. To designate the HUD as soy, we're going to have S1 backwards, as you probably know, and air to ground mode. So let's press air to ground mode. First of all, let's go with the direct mode. So mode here, we've got auto, CCIP, DTOS, VIP, which we don't have yet, and direct. Direct just means manual depressible pipper. Go and see the F5, for instance. So we're going to go for that because it's easy. Just going to quickly set our bomb up with a nose fuse. Next, we're going to set the depression in milliradians of the cursor. So we're going to go to here to main menu, here to data, here to air to surface, and we've got DTOS and direct depression. I'm going to change it here by clicking there, and I just want to change it to 090. It's just a number I want to show. So that is in milliradians. Next I'm going to go back to my SMS. Okay, next I'm going to press S1 backwards to assign soy to the HUD. So I press that. You can see HUD is now soy because we have the star there, and we now have our direct symbology. So where we set that 90 milliradians, that means from our velocity vector there down to our aiming reticle there is 90 milliradians. Milliradians is obviously an angle. 120 is about there, 30 is about there, and so on. Now, the way we would actually use this direct or manual bombing is in conjunction with a manually depressible bomb table. We don't have any of those to hand, and there are no in the manual, and to be honest, you would never actually go and do this anyway, because it is, if you like, a manual reversion mode of bombing. But I just want to show that it's possible. In terms of extra information we get for this mode, RA, radar altitude. Range, we're pretty sure that is the maximum permissible range of the bomb from me to target if I were to drop now, this altitude, this speed, and so on. And we can see the DIP, that is our current depression in milliradians of 090. And if I unpause, it's pretty simple how I'm going to do this. Now, the way I would actually fly this is at a certain speed, at a certain dive angle, which I can get from my pitch ladder here, and at a certain drop altitude in AGL here. Like I said, I don't have the tables, so I'm just going to go for a quick guess drop just to show you how it would work. Okay, I'm going to drop the bomb there with weapon release, obviously. Ping. And I missed my target simply because I don't have the manual tables. Right, that's just showing the manual or direct mode. This time we'll go for DTOS. So, weapon, fuse, mode, DTOS. Now, I think I'm right in saying that the JF-17 is the first aircraft to get DTOS or dive TOS in DCS, which is great. So DTOS is not necessarily like lofting, where you would kind of fly upwards and the bomb would do a big arc. What it really means is that it's a cross between CCIP and CCRP. CCIP is where during all parameters of the bombing you are in a dive. So in the aiming part, you're in a dive. In the release part, you're in a dive, and then you pull out. A CCRP type mode is when you pre-designate a target, so you pre-designate a speed, and then you fly usually more or less straight and level, and then you drop the bomb. Dive TOS, DTOS, is halfway in between, and it uses aspects of CCIP and CCRP. It's used for target of opportunity bombing. So, I'm flying along at a certain altitude, I see my targets. To assign the target, I'm going to go in a dive, so that's just like CCIP. At which point, I will then turn level. I could go slightly up or slightly down, but generally turn level and do the rest of the bombing like CCRP. So that's dive TOS. There are two methods of doing it. I'll show you the first method. As well as that, we can set the DTOS depression of the pipper. So if I were to S1 backwards now, we have our pipper. It's right off the screen at the bottom, which is a little bit annoying. So I'm actually going to go and change that because I can. Data, air to surface, DTOS. Let's try 100 milliradians. You can see is now on the screen. I prefer it like that. Out of interest again, our radar altitude, which is really important for this, our maximum, if you like, bomb range at the moment, and our depression angle. What we're going to do here is fly, and for this first method, place the reticle here on our selected target. It does not have to be that speed that's already selected. That's from a waypoint. I will create my own speed for this, my own target. So I'm going to attack one of these guys here. Typically, I will do this from altitude where I'd spot my target. So we're going to go in the first phase of dive TOS now, which is to select the target. So I'm going to get it on that target and press once, weapon release, ping, and what that's done now has switched me over to a pseudo auto mode. It's given me a SPI as there, and it's given me now symbology for the auto mode. That is a steering line which we're going to follow with our velocity vector, and we're going to get auto style drop cue. We'll have a square come down and meet this symbology down here, and a tone, at which point when we hear that tone we should press and hold weapon release to drop the bomb. So all I've got to do now is fly more or less straight and level and on this steering line. You see the square, you see the cue coming down now. Let's try and keep on target. So I'm going to go left a bit, get ready to press and hold. Press and hold. I've got a nice crosswind, which is why I'm kind of crabbing. And that's the bomb out. You can see them kind of being pushed by the wind a bit, but we should be relatively accurate still, and that's pretty much going to bang that guy I selected. We got him. So that's that. Now we can use that in a slightly different method. I believe that is the, if you like, the main way of doing that, but we can get another Harrier style kind of quick draw method, so let's do that. I should note at this point, once you have assigned a new speed through the method that we just did, you can undesignate with the normal unlock button for the jet. So this is a second way of doing it, what I call the quick draw method. I don't know the official terminology because there's nothing about this in the user manual yet. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into a dive, again, acquire my target, I'm going to hold the pipper over the target, and this time I'm going to press and hold weapon release from here. Okay, and I'm not going to take my finger off the weapon release button. Use the symbology to steer, and that's another way of doing it that I've found, and it's pretty much just as accurate. Did I get him that time? I damaged him, but I was slightly short there, so my steering or whatever was slightly off. So that shows the method of DTOS and the two sub-methods that we've got, and direct, which again is just manual depressible bombing, which is in there, which you're never going to use, but it's cool to know that it's there. Or if you want a challenge, and you can find a depressible table. I hope that was useful, and see you later.